5 things I wish I knew when I started surfing. I've been surfing every day for the past 2 years, and I've made every mistake in the book. So this video is for people who are just getting into surfing, and I know if I watched this video 2 years ago, it would have saved me a lot of trouble. So here we go. Number 5, a smaller board will make you a better paddler. A bigger board will make you a better rider. So here's how to think about board selection. If you want to go with a bigger board, more volume, it'll be easier to catch waves. You'll be able to catch more waves. You'll get more comfortable riding the board. Additionally, a bigger board is more challenging to turn. So you really have to learn the mechanics of turning if you want to be able to do it on a bigger board. And then when you go down to a shorter board, it's going to be trickier to catch the waves. However, you're going to have better fundamentals riding the board. What I would suggest is honestly doing it in phases. If what you need to improve is your paddle ability and your ability to catch waves, then go out on a shorter board. It's going to make it more difficult to catch waves and you're going to have to adapt. Recently, I've gone from riding a short board and I just added a step-up board in my quiver. What I noticed my first session with my step-up board is all of a sudden the takeoff zone on the wave has become so big. Now I can go from the peak all the way over to the shoulder to be able to paddle onto the wave. However, with my shortboard, 5'10", 29 liters, I had to be right in the sea of the wave to take off. You can think of board selection as a matter of what you want to work on. If you want to work on catching waves, go with a smaller board. That's good training for being able to catch waves, and it will naturally improve your paddle ability. If you want to be able to turn the board, ride, and maneuver better, go with a bigger board. You'll catch more waves with the bigger board, and you'll learn how to properly turn it. Number 4. Know your limits. Okay, so story time. Yesterday afternoon, we had a swell here in Nicaragua, 22 seconds, maybe swell of the season so far. And a few kids came up to me before I paddled out and said, "Hey man, we've never surfed here before. Where's the best place to paddle out?" And I was thinking in my head, I don't know these guys. Maybe they're good surfers. They can kind of tell they were a bit new to the sport. If it's your first day of a trip and it's a 22-second swell, and you're a beginner to intermediate surfer, don't paddle out to the main break. Just understand your own limitations. And to be honest, I saw so many guys out there this past swell that were snapping their leashes. One guy this morning needed to be rescued out there. And it's just important to know your limits and understand how to push yourself in the water. I've made another video on knowing your limits, which you can watch here. However, I'll give you a little spiel right now. Pushing yourself in bigger surf is no different than going to the gym. You incrementally increase the weight on the bar. If on your first day of a trip or your first day back into surfing, you go out into double overhead barreling waves, you will likely not fare too well. Just like if you went to the gym and you put 3 plates on the bar your first time back in the gym, it's not gonna go well. Getting used to bigger waves is a gradual process. Start where you are and then incrementally target bigger, sketchier waves. Number 3. Create space in a crowded lineup. Okay, so when you're just getting into surfing, you don't really know how to manage a lineup. And this is something that takes a while, but is very rewarding once you're able to do it. When you're in a crowded lineup, you need to focus on the space between you and the next guy. So if there are a bunch of guys clumped into one part of the lineup, that's not a good place to be. Instead, you want to create space, because what you're looking for is an opportunity where a wave comes in and you're in a place to catch it and the guy next to you is not in the place to catch it. If you're sitting right next to someone, particularly if they're in front of you and have priority, then when that wave comes in, sure, you might be able to catch it. However, they're already going to be on it. So in a crowded lineup, create space between you and the next guy and you'll be able to score way more waves. Number 2, stay calm under pressure. Okay, this comes with time and experience. However, I think it's important to note, when you're out in the surf, particularly as a new surfer, things can get hectic, things can get strong, and the most important thing is to remain calm. A little trick I do when I'm in a crappy situation out there is I start laughing, literally laughing out loud. If you see a massive wave breaking out the back and you know you're about to get clobbered, literally just start laughing and enjoy it. Enjoy the beatdown. There's some science to this. When we start laughing, our heart rate lowers. So if you laugh before that massive wave comes, now make sure to close your mouth in time for the wave so you don't swallow a bunch of water. But if you're able to do something to relax yourself, like laughing, your heart rate lowers and you'll actually be able to hold your breath for longer underwater. Just a little trick to remain calm in sketchy situations. Number 1, buy a skateboard. Okay, obviously skateboarding and surfing are two different things. There's a lot of movements and sensations I've been able to glean from skateboarding that I've brought into my surfing, and it's really helped me. Literally just going on a half pipe, and I'm not gnarly skateboarding at all, man. I can barely even drop in on a half pipe. I'll literally just go in the middle and then gradually work my way side to side, and get a bit more comfortable with it. When you do this, it allows your body to get into the natural flow of board riding, and you're able to see how putting certain weight on in certain moments translates into gaining speed. At the end of the day, surfing is all about speed generation. So if you can train your body and mind to understand the gravitational aspects of board riding and flowing with the board, that's going to be able to translate from skateboarding to surfing. Additionally, you can skateboard without waves. And I know a lot of you guys getting into it, you don't have access to waves all the time. That's obviously the biggest bottleneck in becoming a top-notch surfer, is having access to waves. However, you got to do what you got to do, particularly when you're just starting out. To new surfers out there, make sure you get in shape and make sure you buy a board, whether it's a carver or a skateboard or something like that. If you do those two things, that'll train your mind and your body to be in really good shape, to be strong when you get in the water, and then also to be used to flowing with a board. I've published my training guide that I've used to prepare for surf trips in the shop below. It's the 28-day paddle power routine. You guys can buy it in the shop below. It goes a long way in supporting the channel, and it'll help you guys get super stoked. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Oh, also hit the like and subscribe button. It helps me out a bunch. Thanks, guys.